Hi, good morning. It's that time. It's sixth grade science time. Here is your pre-recorded video guide for our science classwork on Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. Okay? So you will be receiving a post right around 9 o'clock, as you usually do. By now, hopefully you've opened it up. If you're looking at this, the post came right before this video guide post came. Hopefully you've got that open, and you can see that your classwork for today is to finish up activity 1, titled Exploring Space, which we began yesterday. We had just a quick recap. We had the chance yesterday to select one of the 4 space missions on pages 5 through 9 in the textbook. We were to, in procedure step number 1, we were to have selected one of those, read the narrative, and then extract or collect some information from having read that narrative and record it onto student sheet 1.2, okay, which was a data table with 4 missions, space missions listed down the left-hand column, and 2 columns, one column to the right of that for you to write what you learned about that space mission, and then another column all the way to the right in the data table to record the challenge that the scientists and astronauts faced in that mission that you chose to read about. And as we discussed in both meets yesterday, any documents that I attached that, like student sheet 1.1 and student sheet 1.2, you are more than welcome to transfer that information into your notes, which many of you have done, as I've already looked at your classwork from today, if you're unable to convert those attachments into documents that you can type on, okay? Now, there's plenty of other things that you can do, including making a copy, and some of you did, and printing it out. But I'm trying to give you as many choices as possible. The most important thing is that you do the work. Not really how many different ways you can't do it, but figure out a way that you can do the work. So if that means copying something into your notes, then that's the way we're going to do it. Okay. So we shared out in the meets. Students had the chance to share out what they learned about the mission that they chose to read about. And then we filled in the entire data table, that's student sheet 1.2, from student shares and from me showing or presenting a sample student response to that sheet. Okay, tying that into the PowerPoint, which we used as a guide, that brought us all the way through the first 10 PowerPoint slides. And that's why in today's classwork instructions, after I ask you to open that PowerPoint back up again, hopefully today I won't forget to attach it to your classwork assignment on the stream. Anyway, we're going to continue with the next slide in the PowerPoint, which is slide number 11. Okay, and it relates to you completing the 3 analysis items in your textbook on page number, I don't know my glasses on, page number 9. Okay, so slide number 9 asks you in your notes to answer analysis items 1, 2, and 3. Which you can either use these Google Slides to walk you through that one item at a time, or you can use page number 9 in the book and just read the questions from there and respond to them in your notes, okay? So I'm going to take a minute or two and go over the questions. All right, moving on to slide number 12, analysis item number 1 asks you to go back to student sheet 1.1. That was the anticipation guide with the 6 statements and a before and after column that yesterday we filled out the before column for. All right, well now in analysis item 1 today, they want us to go back to that document, okay, reread those statements. Now, knowing what we know about these 4 space missions, okay, that we may not have known yesterday when we read the statements and we responded to the before column. Our answers may, in some of those cases, may be different, okay? So we want to go back to student sheet 1.1, which you should have a copy of, but I will attach again to today's classwork. And read each statement carefully again, and then using pluses if you agree and minuses if you disagree, in the after column, agree or disagree with each statement based on the knowledge that you have picked up in this activity from learning about these 4 NASA space missions. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Pause the video. That's analysis item 1. You need student sheet 1.1 for that. I'm moving on to the next PowerPoint slide, which I believe is, I don't know, so I'm going to have to see here, and it's not popping up. Still not popping up, but I think it's slide, let's see. There's 10, oh, here we go, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, we're on slide 13, analysis item 2. Goes like this. Governments, that'd be like national governments, federal governments, sometimes fund space missions instead of using that money for other scientific research on Earth. There's lots and lots of different types of science. It's not all about space, okay? Well, sometimes governments don't have enough money to do everything, so they have to choose. And sometimes the choice that they make is to fund a space mission instead of funding some other type of important scientific research, okay? So analysis item 2 says, given that, would you fund a future space mission? Especially in this time that we're in of distance learning, having to change our lives due to COVID-19 and the way we go about every day, the way we go about our routine, the way we live, the way we go to school and learn. So, you know, anyway, there's the question. Would you fund a future space mission? Yes or no? Okay. Explain why. Why would you fund a future space mission? Or why, if you said no, would you want not to fund a future space mission? And provide an example of a trade-off between funding a future space mission and funding some other type of scientific research that maybe you think would be more important to humanity or to Earth than funding a space mission. Okay. And by the way, if you're not really sure what a trade-off is, on the bottom of this slide, it reviews with us what a trade-off is. Okay. All right, so that's analysis item 2. There's only one analysis item left, number 3, which you can see on slide 14, is a reflection, and it says, if you had to choose a place in space to explore, where would it be? So if you had to choose a place in space to explore, where would that be? And after you tell us where it would be after you write that down in your notes. Explain why you picked that place and what new things you want to learn if you could go there. Okay. Then if you slide down to the final PowerPoint slide, you'll see that our last task in this lesson and for today is to record the definition of our new vocabulary term spacecraft, which is rockets, satellites, probes, and space stations, along with space shuttles that carry various tools and equipment to gather data about space and space objects. Now, a space object could be a planet. We think of an object as something small. A space object doesn't have to be small. It could be huge. It could be a planet. Any kind of a celestial body. Okay? Anyway, write down the definition for spacecraft in your notes. Then go to your index and make an entry under the letter S for spacecraft. Slide across the line after you've written the word down and record the page number in your notes where you just defined spacecraft. That wraps up our classwork for today. Okay. Tomorrow we'll be doing a little something different, but I'm not going to reveal what that is just now. You'll have to wait until Wednesday. All right, that's all for now. I hope to see you guys in one of our 2 Sci Meets today.